We're going to move to our next item, which is a different on our agenda. We're moving up the first semester school culture activity data. So we have coming up Dean Sibley.
Neil Degetti.
And Neil Degetti. Okay, welcome, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Okay,
Thank you for moving us up.
no problem.
Good evening. I just want to say thank you very much this year for the opportunity of allowing Dave and I to work together. It's the first time we've had 2 full-time deans. We've had an opportunity to kind of evolve our office this year than we have in the past. We have Lori Sullivan also as assistant dean, working with Kristen. She's allowed us just kind of to work with the students that as we have before, but really use interventions that we have. Work with the counselors, the teachers. We have room 250 where we have a new employee from LADSI where we get to work with students who have certain behavior interventions that need help as well. So we're working with all different sorts of the cultures of the building, and I think we are moving in the right direction. As we said earlier, and you asked a question about to the Student Association, how they feel the building is as a culture itself. And Dave and I, we obviously have a very difficult job with discipline, but we truly believe that the building itself is as good as it's ever been, and it's just going to continue to be better. So
Neil and I, on occasion, every Friday morning, we go out and give out free hot dogs and free popcorn to go to the basketball games for
perfect attendance in the classroom.
perfect attendance in the classroom, trying to get the kids here on time, no tardies. If the class is everybody's there, they get those certificates. If they're not, well, some of the kids, one kid's gone, the kids get on them next week, and we try to revisit those same rooms so those kids get those incentives.
The first thing I want to talk about is the suspensions comparable to last year to this year. Total number of suspensions are basically the same as they were from this year to last year. We do have some increase in some of the areas. There was a question about the gang-related gang from Mr. Walsh. It's not a problem. There are more isolated incidents. We had 3 transfer students this year. 3 of them were special education students. One of the students who did get suspended for the gang signs himself is no longer a student here. They transferred out. Part of the issue is that 3 of these students are transfer students. They're not familiar with how we run things here at Riverside Brookfield High School. We have 0 tolerance for it, so we more or less had to teach them exactly what our expectations are. Some of these students who transferred in came in areas where these were the norm in their life. They see it every single day, and in a lot of these schools that they came from, teachers or staff maybe really never looked for it like we do. And when they do these things, we have to reteach them and explain them our expectations here at Riverside Brookfield High School. But moving forward, we had not that many issues since the last one that we had. So that was your question.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else with the suspension report?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this and it's kind of concerned. Last year, the inappropriate or non-compliant behavior, that was the primary issue, right? 53, I don't know what that arose from. Is there a particular instance that 53 arose from?
It was just the way that they compiled data is just how staff would put it in as a referral as inappropriate behavior, which could have been however they interpret it in their classroom, or non-compliant, maybe not listening. So what we did was we make sure that we try to eliminate the teacher's ability to maybe choose that. So now what we do is we choose as like, if a teacher's unsure of what is considered like inappropriate behavior or non-compliant behavior, they might mark it as like DLE, which is like disrupted learning environment, and then Dave and myself will read that referral and we will make that determination.
Okay, but then this year, it seemed like it got moved to drug possession, fighting. What is there a particular instance or event that?
So with the drug possession and the alcohol, those 2 things, they are higher than last year. And the thing what we do now this year is we have an additional security guard who sits at the welcome center. Last year we didn't have a security member sitting there. We had a part-time teacher, part-time security member at that window. And so what they're able to do is they're more trained in what to look for when students make those mistakes. And then if a student in our other protocol is that because Dave and I there's 2 full-time deans, if a student comes in late, let's say they show up an hour late to school, our protocol is that we bring them into the office and we have just a quick conversation with them like, why are you an hour late to school? And at that moment, we know whether or not they made a bad choice when they came to school. And so us having 2 full-time deans and having another additional security member has helped us identify those students. And I know it looks bad that we have this, but it's actually a positive, because if we didn't have the additional security member or another full-time dean, they might have gone through the day undetected. And so now we're able to find them, identify them, and get them help if they need help.
Then I couple that with, I'm looking at the trend by month. I would have expected that if, you see security, if he's caught somebody, you would expect to see that maybe early on, those numbers were, and then they would start tailing off.
It's kind of like a
Are they
honeymoon
still
period.
rolling the dice on you
Well,
guys and
I
still
think
thinking
it's
they could get
kind of
by?
it's kind of like a honeymoon period, I think, in the sense where, they start off the year and, unfortunately, students make mistakes.
They make some bad choices every now and
And
then.
whether or not it's November, December, August, sometimes students get comfortable. And the point is that we identify them sooner, we identify them more often. And we can't always control what they do as soon as they leave their parents. And unfortunately, if you make that decision, we are going to suspend you and we are going to move forward.
Well, I think it'd also be interesting to see what happens in January, February, because it started to decline significantly in December, so to see where they
Yeah,
feel
but
now
I remember
for.
the trend, it seemed like
It's usually the first 2
2 and a
months.
half months into the year, they
Yeah.
start rolling the dice on and it seems that every year, it seems that October, November timeframe always peaks.
I wish I could, knock on all the doors and say, please do not mess up in
Yeah.
October and November,
All right.
you know.
Well, I thought Gary was gonna go asking a little bit different question, maybe I'm
Sure.
wrong. When you said it's similar, it's not, we're worse this year, if you just.
What's that?
We have more suspension in the first semester than last year, right?
Well, this year we have 102 total suspensions. Last year we had 101.
Yeah, but we had one incident last year at homecoming. Didn't a whole slew of kids get suspended there?
This semester, you mean?
Last year
last
at
fall.
homecoming,
Well, I wouldn't.
with
I
the
mean,
events, with the animals.
yeah, I mean, if you take a look, so if you look at
Well,
like.
hold on.
Okay.
Did a whole bunch of kids get suspended at homecoming last year?
Yeah, in October.
Yeah, so I gotta tell you, if you take, then that was an aberration. We hadn't had a huge impact. If you take that, whatever that number was out, it doesn't really say, we can't tell here. If you take that in consideration, that would even lower the numbers substantially from last year, which means we're actually even at a higher rate this
Well,
year.
This year, unfortunately, homecoming dance, they made
Yeah.
some
Oh.
students.
Yeah.
So it's a wash.
Oh, we did
Yeah.
have about the same number this year as last year?
Yeah, we did,
Oh,
unfortunately.
okay. I thought
And
it was a lot
September,
worse
if
last
you
year.
notice in September, this year was higher compared to October this year, which is, if you flipped it to, it's unfortunate they're making some bad choices.
Okay,
During
sorry.
that time.
But I think that's a good, the board's asking the right questions.
I agree.
And the deans are kids,
Thank you.
the right questions.
Yep.
I forgot about that. We had a problem.
What do you
I
s-
haven't.
A different kind of problem.
I haven't forgot it.
Given, the drug and alcohol, because you're looking at kids coming in late,
Identifying.
any other major issues that you're seeing right now that you're trying to address?
In discipline-wise, like I said, this year, our climate is better. The inappropriate behavior is definitely down. The non-compliance is definitely down. So those are up in terms of good behavior, what we want here. In terms of students making bad choices, all we can do is educate them. All we can do is say, listen, if you come to school and you make a bad choice, you're going to be disciplined. You might end up having to have a conversation with the Riverside Police Department. Those are things that sometimes are out of our control. So.
We also hired a drug and alcohol counselor.
Correct,
Yes.
correct.
So we
Which
have
I'll
another
touch
intervention.
more about at February 10th,
Okay.
February 10th, when we talk about the student athletic code.
All right.
Okay, in terms of the
Hey, oh,
attendance.
sorry, can you look at that drug possession, or
Yep.
explain that a little more, at 16
Well,
versus 3?
the issue is, we have the security guard behind the glass. We got the new glass and it's 2 inches thick. But our security guards are aware enough when certain individuals come in to talk to the security guard, they can actually smell the aroma of the marijuana that they've used on them. So they call us right away, we'll bring them in and we'll have that discussion And then we end up doing our protocol of calling parents, police, and suspending those students. That's really helped us a lot. And then us throughout the building and walking throughout the building, we see things and we catch things and we get on kids a little bit more and trying to be more of a proactive thing to get these kids help and use our drug and alcohol counselor.
So your question probably is there an issue compared to this year to last year?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
there's
The
5 times.
Yeah, the truth of the matter is I'm not sure. I'm just assuming that at this point, we're more vigilant. We're able to identify them sooner. Just like if you have more police on the street, you're probably gonna have more arrests when you first start. And so our goal is that, yeah, we're gonna have a lot more suspensions this year. Our goal is, because they know we're more vigilant, that it's gonna drop next year,
And at the end of the semester.
second semester.
Second
So as a
semester.
total number, that's the way it's gonna go.
Are you able to break these offenses out by month in the future?
I could, I just didn't wanna give you guys a gigantic thing, but
No,
I can.
I think that would be helpful if you did.
Just to see if
You
there's
mean
any
like
trends.
discipline, a type of offense?
Just take the
per-
same exact offenses you have here,
Okay,
so whether it's in total and just maybe underneath it, how many per month?
okay.
That
That's
would-
easy.
So that the board can see, you know,
Improvement or
the
not.
drug possessions maybe were up before,
Sure.
when kids were trying to still roll the dice with 2 deans and more security.
Sure,
Compared
no
to
problem.
maybe late semester or second semester, some of that stuff.
Okay.
Okay, you want to move to attendance?
It's an understanding August is not a full month.
Yeah, August, September, they combine, I know, but,
Well, you have, up above you have August, and it's not a full month, and
It's only 2
December's
weeks.
not a real full month either.
right. I was just trying to go by what they had last year, so.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
no problem.
And then attendance, just gonna touch on a couple things. We're up, which is good. Our overall ADA for first semester is up. So we did the math, with the increase in enrollment of, I think it's like 60 students compared to last year, an increase in our ADA for first semester, we're averaging an extra 72 students per day coming to school. That's with the increase in enrollment and the increase in ADA.
Okay,
So if you look at the bottom summary, Neil, you gotta go and break it down for them a
Sure,
little more.
no problem.
Yeah, where's that number?
Average daily attendance on the bottom box where it shows average 94.45.
Mhm.
That's for first semester. Correct.
Where are you looking at?
Bottom
bottom
three.
three.
far
Oh,
bottom
that's
right.
the top 3
3
months. That's the top 3 months.
But that's what we would turn into the state for our
Correct.
school report card.
For us, like, so our goal is, Dave and I, our goal is, whether or not top 3 months or not, our goal is for the whole year to be 95%. Because if we can get the whole year 95%, we've easily matched that what the state requirement
And
is.
the board's goal is 95% for this, as the school report card calculates it,
Which
which
is
is your best
top
3
3
months
months.
of attendance.
Which comes out to, I think it's like, what, 94.91 we're at right now?
94.45.
About 4 or 5. So we're almost there. And so our goal is to get that point. I met with Student Association today, and one of our goals to do is first semester, we didn't allow anybody to have lunch on the lawn, right? I don't want to do it. It is extra work. However, I'm kind of a competitive person, so I put it out to the Student Association saying, whatever class in the month of March, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, whoever has 95% attendance for that month, in the month of April, they're allowed to go out on the lawn and they have lunch. And so then we will man that, because they have to have their IDs, we'll identify, are you junior, senior, whomever you are, and they'll be able to, it's kind of an incentive, kind of a competitive thing for us to get you there. Some other things Dave and I do, unfortunately, when students don't come to school, we do have a number of students, just like every district does. Students get hospitalized, some students unfortunately do go to jail. That does go against our attendance. Suspensions do go against our attendance. So they're just like in any district itself. What we do is we are luxury, Kristen is great, allowing us, we do home visits. I had a mom call me up saying, my child just won't come out of the bed, so we went to the house, knocked on the door, and we walked the student to school. I mean, these are little things that we're doing, and the student has not missed since. So we're trying to be creative, using our counselors, using the teachers, reaching out to the parents, and, I think we're making an improvement, but we can always do better.
Like in the morning, we check our attendance right away. We go and we scroll down, we know what kids are missing, we try to get a hold of those parents, get those kids in the building. If we can get them in there for half a day, that will help us also. So we scroll, we're making calls every morning to these parents and trying to get them to change their culture to get their children to school, so Neil and I don't have to.
okay. Any questions for them on attendance? Thanks a lot. Very good reports. You got to tweak it a little bit, but a very good report, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you.